Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new NVIDIA daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over NVIDIA stock. Let's go over what has happened to this stock, what we can expect moving forward, and all that good stuff. So if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, etc., well, I do share my thoughts with our members every single day as the market is trading. I even shared this little thing on NVIDIA, this descending channel somewhere on this one right here on NVIDIA. I mentioned this descending channel to my members yesterday before the market closed, and it ended up breaking out pretty nicely from it. So anyways, all that being said, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. But yeah, let's just jump into it. I have a membership section on YouTube, so you can press the join button, see all the different tiers, $3, $5, $7 a month. Those are the three tiers, and you can obviously see what you get access to. But NVIDIA, finally getting some movement, but still relatively within the same range, up 1.5%, closing at 145 on the dot. Very interesting price to close at. So let's see how that plays out. But there's a few very important things to mention. So first, we had the 15-minute descending channel that ended up, of course, getting a nice little breakout right up into the typical resistance that it has been facing for quite some time, pretty much at 145. Interesting that it closed right at it. So this is technically a decent close, actually. But there's a few caveats. So let's start off with, we'll do the 1 hour first, actually. Let's start with the 1 hour. So 1 hour is pretty simple here, right? You can see if I take this right here, NVIDIA has been getting, like I mentioned, a lot of support anytime it's come down to about 142, right? 142, 141 and a half, that half a dollar range roughly has been clear support, right? I've mentioned this so many times. This is a very, very important level for bulls to hold. And they've been holding. They've been holding pretty nicely, actually, right? Absolutely holding. Look at this MACD. This MACD has no idea what the hell is going on. But yeah, the bulls have been holding. Absolutely. But the bears have been holding 145. And NVIDIA actually closed at 145. So I'm going to be very curious to see how it plays out tomorrow and how it opens. But to make it simple, if NVIDIA gaps up, then, well, we assume this sort of, 144 and a half to 145 area is now support. As long as it's above it, well, that's kind of the new support, major support now. But if we end up getting a break above it, but then we ended up getting back down under, it will be a massive false flag, essentially a false breakout, and that will be very, very bearish, and you most likely would expect a pretty substantial reversal after that. So let's see how that plays out. But as long as the bulls will essentially turn this sort of, 145 to 144 and a half region into support, my target closer to 147 is still in play, which is, of course, that fair value gap around here, right? So that's still in play. That is still in play. But of course, we'll take it day by day, level by level, right? I mean, we can if we get a gap down tomorrow, then, this continues to be a resistance that needs to get broken and held as support for bulls to continue while bears seemingly try to defend it. Pretty simple stuff there. Let's go to the daily chart though. The daily chart is also very, let me delete this thing quickly. The daily chart is also interesting. So we had one red flag the other day, right? Where we had that closure below the trend line. And, you can make an argument, the fact that this moved to the upside here, it's arguably a bullish engulfing actually, which is very interesting that that's happening up here. But you can kind of make an argument, the fact that, maybe we're just retesting this breakdown. That is a possibility here. So that is a little bit up in the air still, in my opinion. But the main things to watch out for, and the main things I've been talking about, are the three main checkpoints that you want to be looking for, for NVIDIA to see if it has lost the momentum or if the momentum is still in the bullish favor. What have those been? Number one is losing the trend line, which it did yesterday. That's one check mark. But like I mentioned, ideally you want to wait for three, not financial advice. The second one was losing that 8 exponential moving average, which is that green line. I've been talking about this for many, many days now. And guess where it bounced off of? Pretty much exactly there, which in this case also happened to coincide almost beautifully with, well, that 142 support zone. You can see right here on the right, this little green box, 142.03 is where that 8 exponential moving average was. And it lined up pretty beautifully right within that zone, right? So major support. Again, 142, that's the third checkpoint, right? Does it lose pretty much 142 and start closing at least 1 hour candles below 142? Even better would be 141 and a half. We only got one of those things yesterday, right? Which was that closure below the trend line. But again, the thing with closing below trend lines you have to understand is the fact that it just means that we're probably not going to be going up substantially anywhere anytime soon, unless you consider 1.5% a substantial move to the upside. It just means the fact that, there's a good chance you just kind of go sideways here, right? And that's kind of what we've been doing for the most part. So for now, again, I think this trend line is essentially, in my opinion, it's kind of useless now. We arguably have broken down under it. To me now, all that really matters is going to be plain and simple what happens here with this sort of 145-ish zone that we have pretty much closed at, and this sort of 142-ish zone, right? Combine that with the 8 exponential moving average, and that should pretty much give you all the information you need to know as to what's going to happen next. Again, break above 145, turn it into supports, 144 and a half to 145. Technically speaking, we could still get a tiny bit move higher to about that 147-ish range to that fair value gap. Lose it, and, that's going to be concerning. Again, lose 142-ish, that's concerning. Also, remember, we could get liquidity sweeps. NVIDIA actually loves doing liquidity sweeps. So this is just a warning sign, I guess you can say. Tesla actually did this before. Actually, Tesla did this. Let me show you what it looked like on Tesla so you have an idea as to what I'm talking about. This, right? So ignore, let me remove all this for now, just to make it a little bit cleaner. So take a look at this, right? So this area right here, you can see on Tesla, for instance, clear area of resistance, right? Because every single time Tesla got support here, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. And then it came up, it looked pretty nice, arguably a pretty big liquidity sweep, ended up breaking down under, and then it did it again here. Came up again, had these couple candles above it on the 1 hour time frame, just for it to substantially tank very aggressively down after. So this right here is kind of what I'm warning about, I guess, on NVIDIA. Just, watch out for this potential scenario. Not saying it's going to happen, but there's a potential scenario of this happening where if NVIDIA does something this, similar to what Tesla did there, and it does break above 145, it's very crucial that it doesn't get back under and start closing candles back under. Honestly, if you want to give it a bit more wiggle room, 144 for like a little bit more wiggle room to be extra, safe, so you don't get, stopped out. But that's going to be important because again, you can easily get a move like this, kind of chill a little bit here, and then get a massive liquidity sweep and then break back under. So watch for that. So 144 would be that thing to watch out for, in my opinion, if we lose below 144, again, to give it some extra wiggle room, right, just in case. But yeah, just as the warning, right, that is a potential. I've seen this happen so many times, right? People buy the breakout and then they just get used as liquidity and the stock just tanks. Kind of like what I just showed you with Tesla stock, right? Just watch for that. That is, in my opinion, very important to understand. Now, again, to the upside, if we do truly take it back and get back above 145-ish and we turn that range into supports, we'll just say $1 range to make it simple. Yeah, 147, maybe even 148. Best case scenario, 149. That $3, $2-ish range would be the target, absolutely. To the downside, again, losing 142 to 141 is 141 and a half to 142 is the level to watch out for. Below that, we most likely make our way lower. First target will be honestly the high 130s, but I would definitely be starting to eyeball for a larger move back down closer to 130 itself. Worst case 123. That hasn't really changed all that much. So yeah, let's just watch for those guys. It takes time. These things take time. Sometimes it takes a while. Sometimes it's quick. Tesla was quick. NVIDIA is taking a while, right? Doing not too much up in this general vicinity. So let's take it day by day, level by level, right? That's really all we can do. In fact, open up the Bollinger Bands actually. Let's take a look at the Bollinger Bands. Yeah, you can see we're right at the top of the Bollinger Bands as well, right? So again, to me, it's not that NVIDIA can't go up higher. It's just not, I still don't think there's that much juice left to squeeze on the stock short term, right? I think overall, long term, the stock will go much higher, but it needs, to me, I only get interested if I see a reset. I need a reset. I need it to come back to major support to really reignite fresh bullish buyers to then really lift the stock up higher after that, or even down here to really lift the stock up higher after that, right? That is where I start getting interested. Up here, you're just, you kind of have this lemon and, maybe you got a little bit of juice left in there. Maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say. Maybe you have a tiny bit, but maybe you don't. It's just, there's better lemons out there for now, at least for now, in terms of trading, of course. I think that's pretty much all I have right now. So not much more to say. Take a look at options flow very quickly here. See what's happening over here in the option flow land. 2.2 million put over here came in for 815, 145 strike. That's pretty much the only thing that's really standing out here. A couple more down here actually came in. 2.8 million for 1017, and then another 1.7 million for 718, and also 1.3 million for 627, June 27th. All the 145 strikes, the bottom one 140 strikes. So some bears are clearly stepping into the stock here, but yeah, I mean, let's see if they're right. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I do think that there is something sussy going on here. I don't like it, so I stay away. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't mind being wrong. I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I lose no money on it. I do lose nothing. I'm not shorting it. There's plenty of other opportunities that I'm in right now, and I'm patiently waiting for NVIDIA to present me something a little more enticing than whatever the hell this is. That's just my opinion. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.